Hello, my name is Emma Provenza, and I'm going to be talking about the What Makes a Good Salesman article. Now, I'm first going to start off by saying that I have previously been in retail for 4.5 years, and the job isn't as easy as it sounds, and not everyone can be a successful salesperson. It takes what the article talks about, the delicate balance of your empathy and your ego drive. Because we all know people, they can be tricky. Everyone's different. Everyone has different likes, has different wants, has different needs. And us as salespeople need to be able to recognize that sooner rather than later to be able to close a sale. Now, we've all been a part of sales pitches that have come on too strong. We have been a part of some that haven't even been close to strong enough. And as we know from experience, both of those extremes can lead to the non-closure of a deal. So the balance it's tricky, it's very important, and it's hard to master, especially for those who, don't always have the experience or that ego drive or empathy. And I'll first start off by saying we've all been part of a used car sale. And we all know that used car salesmen have more ego drive and less empathy. And they don't really care about your needs. They don't really care about your wants. They don't care about your finances. They don't really care what your credit is. All they really care about is closing the deal. Thus, their ego drive being far too high, in my opinion. And then I'll talk about my current job at a luxury dealership. I mean, though I'm not in the sales department itself, I'm around it every single day. I see it. I see what works. I see what doesn't. I see that though it's still a luxury car dealership, the people are no different. They're still tricky. You still have to curate your sales pitch per each person. And with a new car dealership or a luxury dealership, they always make sure to dot their I's and cross their T's. They get you what you want. They offer you deals. They sometimes can try and, pull the bag over your head, as some people say, but usually they're a lot more professional and a lot more relationship oriented and empathetic, and usually you just have an overall better experience. Now, I'll move on to a different industry, such as insurance. Now, as a salesperson, you can't force people into buying things, your service or your product. You just can't. It's too difficult. And sometimes, even though some kinds of insurance are illegal to not have, and some are a pure luxury to have. And you have to find the balance that you can sell the right insurance to the right person. Now, sometimes it's looked at as a poor sale if you sell even just the minimum coverage, which I tend to disagree with, because you have your foot in the door with that customer. You can then build a rapport, you can build a relationship, you can work on your empathy with that customer and really be able to sell higher coverage the more comfortable and the longer that they stay with you. Now, I'll talk about training. It's incredibly important, and like I've been saying, it's tricky. People are finicky, and training programs aren't always as up to date as people hope. Though companies and corporations pour a lot of money into these training programs, they don't always encompass what is actually needed for the time being or the era that they're in. Some companies are very old school. Some companies are a little too innovative and aren't realistic enough. So you have to find that delicate balance, which again is what this whole article is talking about. This balance it's tricky, it's important, it's wonderful when done right. But and with the training, and through this article, you learn that And also through or sooner in our lessons and in our book, we learned that the essence of professional selling has changed. The tone has changed, and it's gone from less transactional to more relationship based, which I think is a step in the right direction, because companies and the people who work in companies shouldn't be looked at as just a number. We have names, we have feelings, we have needs, we have wants. And I think that it is very, very important for selling companies to take that into account when selling to their customers. And not everyone is good at maintaining a relationship. And that has a big that can really tell on a person's empathy drive. If all they want to do is make the sale, make the sale, make the sale, but you don't have regular like check-ins to make sure that what you sold them is working for them, and if not, what can you do to make their job easier, then you're not maintaining that relationship, and chances are you're going to lose that customer. So this is when your empathy and your ego drive work together to create a perfect relationship. The difficult thing about that is, again, everyone's different. Every company is different. Every company has different needs, has different wants. So you have to specially curate your sales pitch per each customer and what they want, just like how I did in retail. Some people want a more hands-on sales professional. Others want check-in maybe once a year, 1 to 2 times a year, and you have to be able to pick up on what they want, what they need, and deliver for them. That's how you create and maintain relationships. Now, I'll end by saying I completely agree with everything that this article states, really and truly. I mean, you have these companies that do the testing before they hire people, and they look too much into their experience and in their background, and that's not always what will determine who a good salesperson is. You have to use kind of your internal gut. And companies need to be able to recognize that using these programs, such as the tests and sorting through programs to weed people out who they think aren't going to be worth it in their company, they need to realize that those tests, as stated in the article, can be faked, can be wrong, can just provide just the wrong information. And I really feel like companies need to take a more personal approach into talking to their applicants and really getting a feel for if they're lying, if they're being truthful, if they know what they're talking about, or if they're eager to learn and do a good job, though they don't have the experience. And I think that a lot of the times it should be more personality trait driven, and it's an intrinsic motivation, and some people just don't have what it takes to be a successful salesperson, which is not bad, but it's good to know that when going into a job interview.